Fantastic Four wasn't just a superhero movie, it was a quietly erupting furnace of chaos. Behind every frame, production disasters simmer, the set is fracturing, the cast is crackling with tension, the effects pipeline is on the brink of collapse. And you're about to get 20 weird facts about Fantastic Four, the stuff even hardcore fans never heard. Plus, a bonus fact that's so bizarre, it almost didn't make the script. Stay tuned and brace yourself. Number 20. Production wasn't controlled. It was exploding. Filming in Montreal, the soundstage nearly collapses under blizzard conditions. Interiors shudder. The crew endures brutal cold, frozen breath visible in dailies. The stage doors burst open. Not cold, but Arctic. Not calm, but relentless. What audiences don't know is the heat gun teams working overtime just to keep pipes from freezing, and actors burning through wool-lined, tastefully heroic costumes. Practical effects break down. A glow of blue from frozen breath contrasts dramatic cosmic rays. Studio execs threaten to relocate. It's not a superhero origin story. It's survival training. Each day ends in exhaustion and emotional frostbite. And yet somehow, that primal rawness bleeds into the screen. The cold stays with you. Number 19. Casting wasn't serene. It was turbulent. Rumor is casting vocals break rooms. Carrie Wurrer is almost Sue. Instead, producers pick Jessica Alba under pressure. It isn't smooth audition cuts. It's a clash of availability and studio marquee pull. Cecilia Norden isn't consideration. They're chasing chemistry that barely survives lunch. What audiences don't know, Alba feels hamstrung. The producers shape her into the script, not the script shaping around her. It's not organic casting, but sculpted celebrity. Alba quietly bristles. Behind closed doors, she presses. I want more depth. The director responds with damp smiles, call sheet changes, and no rewrite. The tension pulses beneath every silent scene. It's not petty, it's raw, and it haunts the final cut. Number 18. Stunts weren't safe. They were hair-raising. When Johnny Storm bursts into flame ring flight tests, the stunt rig isn't confident. It's precarious. The harness creaks. The flame effects are practical. It's not a CGI overlay. It's a torch, not safety rehearsal, but impromptu adjustments. The stunt coordinator halts mid-run, sweat dripping, as the flame nearly singes the rigging. What audiences don't know, Chris Evans yanks his arm free from the harness mid-fall. It wasn't choreography. It was instinct. The camera shakes. The crew flinches. He lands, untamed. Later, he laughs it off. It's not heroism on screen. It's survival on set. You feel it in the skin on your arms afterward. Number 17. Actor conflicts weren't whispered. They were eruptive. There's tension between Iowan Gruffudd and Michael Chiklis over tone. It isn't creative difference. It is clashing ideals. Gruffudd floats arrogant composure. Chiklis bristles with grounded gruffness. They argue over a line in rehearsal. We make it look easy. Gruffudd wants swagger. Chiklis wants real sweat. Not a performance. A confession. Their voices spike. The assistant director freezes. It's not petty egos, it's philosophy. The director steps in, shots halt, the crew exhales. Later in interviews, both smile, but off camera, the salt remains. What audiences don't know is that clash intensifies the chemistry. It's not rival energy. It's combustible magnetism that you sense in every scene they share. The tension scorches the screen. Number 16. Studio interference wasn't quiet. It was heavy-handed. 20th Century Fox isn't hands-off. It's micromanaging, to the point where the galactic storm sequence gets cut at the 11th hour. It's not creative pruning, but exec panic over effects, budget overruns. The cosmic visuals shrink, not dramatic crescendo, but truncated. What audiences don't know, effects teams scramble, CGI artists, labor nights. The director fights to reinsert shots, but under pressure, he relents. The sequence feels patchy. Film critics sense it. Fans feel it. That moment doesn't soar. It stutters. It's not a seamless cosmic ride. It's a reminder. Artistic vision can buckle under spreadsheets, And even in the final cut, the gash remains visible, raw, jarring, unhealed. Number 15. The Thing's suit wasn't just heavy. It was brutal. Michael Chiklis spends hours entombed in a 60-pound latex and foam prosthetic suit for The Thing. Not hot, but suffocating. The interior temperature spikes under stage lights. Breathing becomes labor. He drinks through a straw snaked under the jawline. What audiences don't know, Chiklis fights to keep the role authentic, refusing a full CGI replacement despite Fox's early proposals. "If I'm going to play him, I'm going to be him," he insists. But the toll is severe. On some days, crew members help peel the suit off as steam rises. Every grimace you see isn't just acting, it's endurance. That heavy, lumbering gait, it's real fatigue. Chiklis isn't pretending to be trapped inside Ben Grimm's rocky skin. He's living it. Number 14. A key villain scene. Nearly didn't happen. Julian McMahon's Doctor Doom isn't the original plan. Early drafts give him fewer scenes, banking on the Fantastic Four's group dynamics to carry the story. But after test audiences react lukewarm, reshoots are ordered. Not fine-tuning, emergency surgery. What audiences don't know, McMahon returns months later to film the electricity corridor confrontation with altered makeup that barely matches earlier shots. The crew scrambles to hide continuity gaps, dimming lighting and tightening camera angles. It works, but barely. The scene's eerie, claustrophobic feel? That's partly because the set is smaller and hastily rebuilt. Doom's sudden surge in presence isn't an arc from the original script. It's a patch job to keep the villain from fading into the background. Number 13. The Invisible Woman's hair was a nightmare. Jessica Alba's Sue Storm is meant to radiate classic comic book glamour, but on set, her platinum blonde wig becomes an endless headache. Not a subtle detail, but a blinding beacon under lighting. What audiences don't know, the wig reflects set lights so badly that entire shots have to be relit or digitally adjusted frame by frame. Alba grows frustrated, sometimes spending more time in the makeup chair than on camera. "We're losing hours to hair," one crew member mutters in dailies. The irony? In scenes where Sue turns invisible, the wig is digitally removed before effects are layered in. It's the ultimate invisible performance, not of power, but of patience. Alba later jokes that her character's true superpower was surviving that hairpiece. Number 12. The space scene was shot in pieces. That opening mission to space, where the cosmic storm changes everything, looks seamless. In reality, it's a puzzle shot across weeks and different sound stages. The cockpit is built on a gimbal in one studio. The storm cloud background? Filmed months later using miniatures and CGI plates. What audiences don't know, the actors never see the storm. They're reacting to stagehands waving flashlights and wind machines. Chris Evans, in particular, plays his lines while being blasted by leaf blowers. Ewan Gruffudd later admits, "We looked ridiculous. It's not all on their faces, it's fighting to keep eyes open. The illusion works on film, but the raw footage is almost comedic." Movie magic stitches chaos into cosmic wonder. Number 11. A hidden tribute to Marvel history. Tucked inside the Baxter Building lab set is a barely noticeable Easter egg. A framed Daily Bugle newspaper with a headline referencing Spider-Man. Not bold, but sly, planted by the prop team without an official Marvel crossover plan. What audiences don't know, Marvel execs originally wanted a cameo by Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, but cross-studio rights made it impossible. So they slip in the headline as a nod for eagle-eyed fans. The paper is never in sharp focus, yet it becomes a whispered legend among crew. This was 2005, years before the MCU's grand unification. The prop serves as a quiet what could have been, a tease of a shared universe that was still just a dream. Number 10. Chris Evans' fireflight almost went wrong. When Johnny Storm takes off in his first full flame-on flight, the stunt rig is mounted high in the Montreal soundstage. Evans is strapped into a rotating gimbal surrounded by practical flame bars to create authentic light and reflection on his skin. Midway through filming, the rig malfunctions, locking in an inverted position while the flames still burn. Crew rushes in, dousing the area, but Evans hangs there, disoriented, upside down, until safety technicians manually release the harness. What audiences don't know is Evans insists on continuing after a brief break, worried the footage would lose momentum if delayed. That burning confidence? It's not just acting, it's adrenaline still surging from nearly being trapped above a live flame array. The intensity you see in his eyes in that sequence is part performance, part survival instinct, forever fused in the final cut. Number 9. The Dr. Doom mask was painful to wear. Julian McMahon's metal-faced Dr. Doom mask looks imposing on screen, but off-screen it's an endurance test. Crafted from a rigid composite, it presses tightly against his cheeks and jaw, limiting movement. He can barely speak above a whisper without the edges digging into his skin. Between takes, makeup artists remove the mask to apply ice packs and relieve swelling. What audiences don't know, McMahon's breathing is partially restricted while filming, forcing him to take shallow breaths during long monologues. The slightly measured, eerie cadence of Doom's voice isn't purely performance. It's necessity. In one scene, the mask's edge actually cuts into his lip, drawing blood that had to be airbrushed out in post-production. McMahon jokes years later that Doom's simmering rage came naturally, because that mask was trying to kill me. The discomfort bleeds into his performance, giving the villain a simmering menace that feels genuinely suffocating. Number 8. Jessica Alba was given bizarre acting notes. During emotional scenes, Jessica Alba receives unusual direction from the filmmakers, notes urging her to tone down facial expressions. In one key moment, where Sue Storm should tearfully plead for the team to stay united, the director allegedly tells her, "Don't crinkle your face, it looks ugly." What audiences don't know is this request leaves Alba feeling self-conscious, leading her to underplay scenes that originally had more raw emotion. She later reveals in interviews that the criticism made her feel like a mannequin, there to look perfect, not convey depth. The irony is that Sue Storm's arc is about being taken seriously beyond her appearance, yet the on-set treatment mirrors her character's frustration. When you watch those softer, cooler emotional beats, you're seeing Alba navigating the fine line between her instincts as an actress and the cosmetic perfection the studio demanded. Number 7. The climax was rewritten mid-shoot. The final battle between the Fantastic Four and Dr. Doom wasn't the one originally planned. Early drafts involved a sprawling sequence on New York rooftops, with Doom chasing the team through collapsing structures before being cornered in a high-voltage trap. Halfway through filming, budget constraints slashed the set pieces, forcing the scene to be reimagined in a more contained urban setting. What audiences don't know, much of the battle's choreography is improvised on the day, with actors blocking movements around the few available practical elements, like the taxicab and streetlight used in the ice freeze finale. Crew members rapidly adjust lighting and camera positions to give the illusion of scale. The change saves millions, but also alters the tone, trading spectacle for tighter, more personal combat. That intensity in close-ups isn't just dramatic framing. It's necessity, born from a stripped-down set and a ticking clock. Number 6. Deleted scenes were lost forever. Several sequences shot for Fantastic Four, including an extended montage of the team testing their powers in public, are cut during editing. Normally, these would resurface in DVD extras, but technical mishandling during post-production results in some original negatives being damaged beyond recovery. What audiences don't know is that a hard drive crash in the visual effects department wiped certain early composite shots before they could be archived. This loss frustrates both the director and fans who later hear about the missing footage through leaked call sheets. Some who saw early test screenings swear these scenes added humor and camaraderie missing from the theatrical cut. Today, they exist only in memory and scraps of behind-the-scenes stills. The vanished moments are like ghost frames, evidence of a version of Fantastic Four that could have breathed more life into the film's team dynamic. Number 5. The Baxter Building was half a set. The gleaming Baxter Building interiors look expansive on screen, but only half of what you see is physically built. The other half? Green screen extensions and clever camera tricks. The production constructs a single curved corridor, the lab space and part of the lounge, then redresses them repeatedly to simulate new angles. What audiences don't know, extras sometimes get lost between takes because the hallways dead end into plywood walls. Iowan Gruffudd recalls nearly walking into a lighting rig while looking for the elevator between scenes. The design team uses forced perspective, scaling furniture and door frames differently on each end of the set to make it feel larger. The illusion works so well that even some crew members thought they were filming in a much bigger location. In reality, the Baxter Building was a carefully crafted maze with nowhere to actually go. Number 4. Real scientists consulted on the science, then got ignored. To ground the story, Fox brings in physicists and NASA consultants to advise on the plausibility of cosmic storms and genetic mutation. For weeks, they work with the writers, providing detailed explanations of solar radiation effects and spacecraft shielding. Not guesses, real science. What audiences don't know, as soon as the effects budget is locked, most of that research is discarded in favor of more visually cool but scientifically impossible events. One consultant admits they wanted lightning in space, so they got lightning in space. The few accurate nods that survive, like cosmic rays passing through shielding, are buried under explosions and glowing clouds. The scientists shrug it off, but some subtle details, like the ship's rotating habitat module, come directly from their input. It's a reminder that even when you hire experts, spectacle often wins over realism in the final cut. Number 3. Michael Chiklis fought for more humanity. In early drafts, The Thing's arc focuses heavily on his monstrous form, sidelining Ben Grimm's human side. Michael Chiklis pushes back, insisting that the character's heart and humor are essential to the role. What audiences don't know is Chiklis uses his own comic book fandom to persuade the writers, bringing vintage Fantastic Four issues to meetings and highlighting moments where Ben's vulnerability makes him a hero. Some of his suggestions lead to small but memorable scenes, like the Thing helping a child retrieve a lost toy or awkwardly trying to eat in public. While the studio still cuts several quieter moments, Chiklis's influence preserves enough humanity to balance the rock-covered exterior. Those glimpses of warmth amidst the gruff exterior? They're there because the actor refused to let the man inside the monster be forgotten. Number 2. The "Flame On" catchphrase was controversial. Johnny Storm's signature "Flame On" seems like a no-brainer for fans, but it nearly doesn't make the final cut. Early test screenings reportedly draw mixed reactions. Some audiences find it cheesy, others cheer. Fox executives debate removing it entirely to avoid unintentional laughs. What audiences don't know, Chris Evans fights to keep the line, arguing it's iconic and part of the character's DNA. He suggests delivering it with playful confidence rather than a dead serious tone, which ultimately lands in the theatrical version. The reshoot for his first big Flame On moment is filmed with multiple inflections, giving the editor flexibility. In the end, Evans's chosen delivery becomes a fan-favorite moment, proving that sometimes leaning into comic book camp can pay off. Without his persistence, one of the most memorable callbacks to the original Marvel source material might have been lost. Number 1. Post-production nearly missed the deadline. With multiple reshoots, visual effects backlogs, and editing disputes, Fantastic Four comes dangerously close to missing its summer 2005 release date. Post-production teams work in shifts around the clock, with editors cutting scenes while effects artists render shots in adjacent rooms. What audiences don't know, the final mix is completed just 72 hours before premiere prints ship to theaters. The rush means minor continuity errors slip through, like subtle costume changes between cuts, that only eagle-eyed viewers catch. Crew members later admit they weren't sure if the movie would physically be ready in time. When the cast attends the premiere, some are seeing the fully finished version for the first time. That smooth, polished blockbuster exterior hides a frantic sprint behind the scenes, a race against both the calendar and technical chaos. Bonus fact, the original ending was wildly different. In the earliest version of the script, Dr. Doom survives the final battle, escaping aboard a stolen military aircraft to set up a direct sequel. The tone is darker, with the four left shaken by their inability to fully stop him. What audiences don't know is that this ending was filmed in partial form, McMahon in the Doom armor on a green-screen runway set, before Fox decides the movie needs a more definitive win for the heroes. The escape sequence is scrapped, replaced with the ocean freighter scene seen in theaters. The unused footage is never officially released, though stills occasionally leak online. Fans who've seen fragments describe it as moodier and more in line with comic lore. In another timeline, Fantastic Four could have ended with a chilling open door instead of a neat, heroic bow.